Hi everybody, it's Claire, and this is going to be a little tutorial to cover light effects. You can probably guess that by the double page, the beautiful double page you can see open in front of you, which is from Joanna Basford's World of Flowers. I've had some fantastic feedback on it since I completed it last weekend. It's currently the banner for our Joanna Basford Your Pages Facebook site, which I'm an administrator of. And I have done tutorials on light effects before and creating flower lanterns and using fluorescence to create light, but I've had such a lot of feedback in particular about this beautiful red daisy roof and how the light plays off of the flowers that I thought it merited a quick revisit of light techniques in our colouring books. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you how to create a flower lantern and how to get the yellow glow around it. So we'll go up to where it changes to blue, because that's basically the light. This is the glow. And then you'll be in the position where you can take it through to whichever colour sky or whichever colour background you want. We'll have a quick look also at how I understand the light will play off of the lovely pink daisies in kind of like an arc shape. Okay, so before we go on to the tutorial itself, just take a look. So think about light. Light, when it glows, comes out in kind of like a circle, almost like, think about raindrops hitting a puddle. So you can see it comes out in a circle, okay? And where they overlap, like you would see raindrops on the floor, in the water, they kind of, they cross over each other. So think about light in this respect, in that we're going to create circles, okay? So you can see that down here we've got the light coming from the window, which slightly plays off outside of the house. We've got the lanterns here, again, with the light circles around them. We've got a light source here that Joanna's put in for us. We've got a lantern here, which plays off of the bit of the house and is also concentric with the light coming from this window here. And you can see also that I've put in a slight circle here of light, because clearly the lantern is close, so it's also going to light up these leaves here. And that's basically the same principle. So the light will play off of these flower lanterns and hit this roof here in a circle. And I'll take you through how I achieved that. Okay, so let me just move that one out of the way. She says, pencils flying everywhere. So let's start with, I think, zooming you in a tiny bit. Let's zoom you in a tiny bit. Just put those up there for now. Okay. So I'm going to move this to the centre of the shot. And zoom you in. And just double check there's no shadow. Right, okay, so we are going to be working on this flower here. And we're going to be working on this roof. So I think that's pretty much decently in shot for you, I think. Okay, so let's get the pencils into shot as well. What I think we will do first is, she says, just putting the ones that fell on the floor back in order. I think we'll have a look at the flower lantern first, because that's the one that we've done before, so we can go through it quite quickly. It's using fluorescent pencils for the centre to create the actual kind of like little light bulb effect. Okay, you'll have seen pretty much something like this palette before. I've got my Prismacolor pencils. I'm going to use Black Cherry, which is PC 1078. I've got my dark purple, which is PC 931. I have my, 995. Now, I think that's Mulberry, she says, translating the French. And we've got neon pink, which is 1038. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to start here. So I might just pull it down a little bit. Okay. Working here. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to start with my Black Cherry, okay? And I'm going to start with this centre petal here. Gently scumble in a little blend line. Okay? Gently scumble in a little blend line. And just follow the pattern. Behind that, have you seen me do before? Firm touch, but we leave the blend line for the next colour. You see me do this many times. It's how I like to blend Prismacolor pencils. And I know a lot of you have said on your feedback for the tutorials. Can you not use something else? But I think it's individual choice. You know, I have polychromos, but for me, the way that I colour, they don't blend as well for me. I'm sure you guys can layer with them and get them to blend beautifully. In fact, I know you can because I've seen your beautiful drawings. But I like my Prismacolors, and that's what I'm going to stick to because that's what I work best with. Okay, put that to one side for a second. Then I'm going to go to my dark purple. I'm just going to do a concentric ring inside. Okay, gently scumble myself a blend line, and then over the blend line of the previous colour and up to the blend line of this colour, medium firm. Okay, so it's all blended together. Like that. Then I'm going to quickly go to my Mulberry. Same thing, but I'm going to leave a gap in the middle. And remember, you're creating a light bulb inside a flower. So you're kind of creating a lantern out of a flower. And now the magic happens. So we take our neon pink and basically we go over everything that's in the middle so that it literally looks like medium firm hand, so that it really makes you look like it's got a light bulb sitting inside it, that it's lighting it up from inside. Okay, just brush that off. Can you see? So using neons is a really good way to to get this effect. I'm just going to zoom you in a little bit more. I think move this over a tad. Come on, Holoway, pull it the right way. You're not doing very well today, are you? There we go. And you can still see this roof, I think. Yes. Right, I'm going to do something slightly different for these outer petals. But what I'm going to do first is take my black cherry, and because these two tiny petals are sat at the back, I'm just going to block colour those in black cherry, because they'd be in shade and they'd be in darkness sitting at the back. And what I'm going to do is, just before I move on, I'm going to quickly go back to my Mulberry and just tidy that blend line up, because it's not as perfect as I would like it to be. But you can spend as much time as you want getting your blends as nice as you want them. Okay, I'll do slightly something different now. I'm going to put my black cherry to one side and I'm going to take my dark purple. And for these ones, I'm going to have the light going from outside so that the light catches these edges, okay? So small tiny blend line of dark purple with a firm touch behind. Okay, that to one side, go to the Mulberry. Blend line. And because this is such a small space, I'm just doing tiny little scumbling movements. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll go to the neon pink, just so that we can make the light play off the outside of that flower lantern on the outside of its on the outside petals. Okay, so we'll just quickly finish that off. So that's your flower lantern. And if you watch the Creating Light with Fluorescent Pencils tutorial, there's several palettes in there. You don't have to use this palette. I do give you several examples in that tutorial of using neon yellow, using your white pencil to create the light bulb effect. Okay, but I just chose these ones for this one. They kind of remind me of like a harebell. So I chose that palette for mine. Okay. Now what we're quickly going to do, just for completeness' sake, I've got my grass green, which is PC 909, and I've got my spring green, which is 913. One of my favourite combinations. Gentle blend line. Behind. Firm touch over the rest, just so that we finish off the little top of that flower. Let's go back to the grass. Just gently blend that away. I think we'll do this in just block colour. And then we'll do this in block colour as well. Like that. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the yellows. So if I just grab my book for reference again, and I will show you. So basically we've created this, and now we're going to do the yellow around the flower lantern. Okay. So what we're going to do is we are going to take our neon yellow, which is PC1035. Okay. And we are going to start by putting a very thin outline in medium firm pressure around the full shape. So we're not thinking about circles just yet. But a medium firm pressure. Just a thin line, not even a millimetre thick. Okay. And that will really help make this glow when we get the rest of the yellows in. Dead easy. Okay, just round the bell, section. And what you need to do is, because this is a kind of like a rich colour, this neon pink on the outside, just be careful that you don't pick up. See, I have a little bit there. Just be careful that you don't go over the black line, because you'll pick up the dark colours on the on the tip of your neon yellow. Now we're going to go to lemon yellow. So it's PC915. Again, don't worry about these, I'll write them down for you. Now we're going to start to think about a circle. So I'm going to grab my compass. Okay, so I've just got my HB pencil in the compass, and I'm just going to gently, kind of roughly find the middle. Okay, so I'm going to make a circle. Now I don't hardly want to make a line on this page, so I'm going to touch very, very gently. I just want an indication of where it's going to go. Okay, and don't draw over your roof, right? Okay, hopefully you can see that. So I'm just going to slightly just rub it so that I can still see it, but it's not going to show up, if you know what I mean, when I put the yellow on. Just want an indication of where that circle's going to be. That's great, I can still see that. Right, lemon yellow. So now we follow the circle. Gentle scumble line. You can probably still see that pencil coming through a little bit. What I would have done is rub that out a little bit more, but you can when you come to do it. But it's quite good actually for the purposes of the tutorial. For all I'd have taken it off in my drawing, you can actually see the line that I'm following. So I'm not too worried about that, because you can take yours off. But it works in terms of what I want to show you for this tutorial. Okay. Okay, so I've got a blend line. Then I'm just going to, in a medium firm pressure, scumble over the edge of the neon and up to the blend line. Okay, follow the circle. So can you see how that very thin line of neon really gives it that little bit more of like an extra 1000 watts? Really gives it a bit of oomph in terms of the light. Easy, easy peasy. Okay, now we're going to go to deco yellow, which is PC1011. And I'm going to mark myself just a few, maybe about a millimetre or two, just scumble a blend line in and follow the circle. Just follow the circle, but don't go onto the roof, okay? And then we're just going to blend behind it. Blend it into the lemon. But don't go over your outer blend line, okay? being careful as I go up to the edge of the petals on the roof. And these two colours are pretty close together, so you won't need to do much blending. And as I say, just, you know, this little line here you wouldn't have on yours. Just now an indication of the circle. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cream, which is PC914, and I'm not going to put a blend line in. I'm just going to gently scumble in a couple of millimetres to give myself the outer ring of that yellow glow. And that will put you in the position that you could then choose whichever colour background you wanted that will blend into the cream. So if you chose the blues like I did, you would maybe start off with a cloud blue or a powder blue and then gradually get darker, because the powder and the cloud blues blend in really easily with the cream. If you wanted to have kind of like a red sky, an orange, yellow, orange and red sky, you would go back through the yellows and through your oranges. If you wanted a purple sky, you might want to start with something so outside this cream, you might want to start with something like grey lavender, because that blends really well with cream, and then go through the gradually deepening shades of purple. Okay, but if you leave your outer ring as cream, you can pretty much take it to wherever you want to go to, in whichever colour you want to go. Okay, so we have a flower lantern with a glow. Now what I would say at this point is, if you're doing several lanterns, so like on mine, if I, you know, so I did this one as a lantern and I did these two as lanterns as well. Get yourself to the point where you've got the yellows around each of them before you go into any other colours. Let me explain why. Think about raindrops again. Think about how when raindrops meet, when they hit the surface of the water, they make concentric circles. Okay, this page is actually probably a better example. So if you just did one and then carried on with the blue and the blue and the blue and the blue, you kind of get blues over where you're wanting this one to light up. So what I'm trying to say is, when you make a lantern, put each colour around each lantern as you go. Don't put a yellow on here and then go into your blues and then go back to yellow here, because you'll have taken your blues over where you want these yellows to be. So always start off, repeat the process that we have just done for each lantern. Okay, and then if I was to start with my blue sky, so if I was to start with my cloud blue as my PC1023, imagine I've got a yellow ring around this as well. I would start with my cloud blue ring, again my cloud blue ring, my cloud blue ring, my cloud blue ring. Then I would go to my Caribbean Sea, Caribbean Sea ring, Caribbean Sea ring, Caribbean Sea ring, Caribbean Sea ring, and that way you build up the picture, and you will eventually get your circles to melt into each other. Okay, and they will all look like they're coming from the light source rather than overlapping each other, if that makes sense. Okay, so if you're going to do this, go in stages, one pencil at a time, and do all your light sources with your one pencil as you go. Okay, now then, let's have a quick look at the roof. So again, I'm going to go back to my compass, and think again, the light is coming out in circles, so it's going to be hitting in an arc on these flowers here. Yeah, so this arc is going to be lighter than these arcs. Okay, so I'm just going to use my compass again and refine the middle, and then I'm kind of just going to give myself just a little indication of where that light would hit the roof. Yeah, in an arc shape. And remember, if you were doing what I've just said, you would have like your arc over here, because it's coming from this light source, and you would have your arc coming from this window light, so you would have an arc over there as well, and that will really help you. I'm just going to draw these in quite darkly so you can see them. I wouldn't draw them in this darkly if I was doing the picture, but it will really help you understand where you need to place the colour to create the light. Okay? So the reds that I used for that red daisy roof, we're going to start off with the lightest, which is carmine, which is 926. Okay, so I'm going to follow the arc. So basically I'm following the pattern of the cream that we've put around the lantern. And I'm just going to scumble a little arced blend line. Okay. Now I'm going over the centre of these flowers. I actually put a little piece of Clearo gold paint in the centre of these, but just for the sake of the tutorial, I'm just going to, it's the principles of how you create the light, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. And then behind that, you literally just block colour in the beautiful carmine red colour. Don't go over your blend line. And again, if you're going to do this colour here, do it over here, because this would be a light source here. So I'm not going to do the whole roof, but I'm just telling you my technique. Okay, and again, you would have the light source from this window, so you would have a little arc of colour there. Yeah, does that make sense? You have a little arc, and we're starting with the lightest colour, because it's closest to the light source here. So as this gradually comes away, we will get darker in our shade of red. Okay, so I can put the carmine to one side for a minute. I'm going to go to magenta, and I'm going to follow the pattern. It really is pretty simple once you know the technique. And I'm actually going to be making another tutorial. Well, no, it's not a tutorial, it's a book review, because I've just had a flyer copy of Joanna's new How to Draw Inky Wonderlands book, which is due out in October. And that book is very much about drawing techniques to create things, but without you necessarily having to be an artist. And this is the same principle. So I'm not an artist by any stretch of the imagination, but these are techniques where if you learn them, you can apply them to anything that you want in terms of creating light. And that's what Joanna's book's going to be about soon, is teaching people tips and tricks on how to draw. So I'll be doing that book review shortly. Okay, so again, you would have your colour here, and you'd have your colour there. Okay, and if you wanted to go back to your carmine and just doubly blend that away, you can do. Then we're going to go to pomegranate, which is 195. And I'm only leaving I'm only doing a few millimeters at a time, because if you think I've got another 3 pencils to the side of me and they will gradually meet in the middle, and I want to use all of them, so I'm not taking the colour too far out. So again, medium firm of the blend line of the previous colour. I'm just going to go back to the magenta. Just being careful of these little outlines. And what I would say is, if you're going to do a dark blue and black background like I did, you absolutely must do it last, because there's an awful lot of black on my page. I'll show it you again before we finish the tutorial. Can you imagine if I've got black over here, even if I covered it a little bit with cloth, can you imagine how dirty my hand would be? And you're pulling it all over this lovely yellow and red colour. So what I did was I worked it up to having up to the cream here, and then finished the rest of the double page, and then the background went in last. So we go to raspberry, which is 1030. And can you see we're gradually getting darker the further away from that lantern source we go. Same thing, just going to do a little light touch blend line, firmer pressure behind. And I'm going a lot faster here than I would if I was doing it myself, but you've seen me blend a million times before, so I'm hoping that you'll get it. Okay, then I'm going to go to my Tuscan red, which is my second but darkest, which is 937. Blend line, firmer touch behind. And as I say, thank you for all the wonderful feedback I got on that double page. It's currently the banner of the Your Pages Facebook site, and it'll stay that way for a week, like they always do. We have our colourists submit completed double pages, and every Friday I change the banner, and we get to look at each other's artwork for a week, which is particularly nice, I think. And I had quite a few requests to make it the banner this week, so I changed it yesterday, and it'll stay up till next Friday. Okay, I'm going to quickly go back to the raspberry, just smooth that out. And I'm going to go to my darkest, which is my black raspberry. So clearly you'd have had, the colours built up here. So you probably wouldn't get a full arc with this, because you'd have made it meet kind of here somewhere. So you would probably only get this much before it melded into that one, if you know what I mean. And anywhere that is left, so if you had some flowers down here that were outside these arc shapes, then this is just all your deepest colour. Okay, so I think that's it for today. I said I'd just give you one last look at, so I'll pull out again. I said I'd give you one last look at the double page, just to finish. This is it here. Seeing if you can see the whole thing. Push that over. So can you see how we've recreated this light falling onto the roof? Yeah, and then you've got your light source falling on here and coming from this side as well. Okay, so hopefully you found that useful. I have to say I really enjoyed doing this double. Thank you, Joanna, for such a beautiful design, and I shall speak to you all soon. Bye for now.